And we're back with another weekly market breakdown. You know, that video where we take a look at the market from both a technical and a fundamental perspective. And as always, remember the information should not be a substitute for financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, I do suggest that you seek financial advice from a financial advisor that you can blame if you blow your account, right? So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to go over the fundamental data that we had for last week, or that we were hoping to get last week, right? Now, most of you obviously saw the NFP data that was supposed to be come out last week is scheduled for this week. So once again, I don't expect much movement in the market this week. So let's get through the information. So first things first that we got over here is we've got the FOMC meeting minutes. Now people normally confuse this for the FOMC for the interest rate decision. It's basically just the discussion or the minutes of the meeting that will be discussed. Sorry, that will be discussed over there. Then on Thursday, we've got unemployment claims, tentative, and we also have it for the following day. Sorry, they both on the same day. But I would assume it's more or less the same, right? So as you can see here, this week, not a lot of data coming through. Monday's quiet, Tuesday's quiet. Friday, we've got the NFP data, we've got the prelim the of University of Mexican Consumer Sentiment and Inflation Expectations. Now, these two over here, or let me just start over here, the average hourly earnings, it's basically what shows people what the adjustments are that were made on people's salary on their average earnings month over month. And then the unemployment rate is basically how many people has lost their jobs within, that month over month, or what the current unemployment rate is in terms of people who has lost their jobs. And then we have the non-farm employment change. It's basically how many new jobs were added to the payroll that excludes people working on the farm, which is why it's called the non-farm payroll. And then we have the prelim of University of Mexican Consumer Sentiment. It's basically a survey conducted to gauge how the consumer feel about the current economic status. And then this is basically the same. It's basically consumer sentiment on what they think about the inflation in the current state that the country is in. Now, if you go straight to last week's analysis, you can obviously see there everything that I've anticipated on both the dollar index. GU and EU was 100% correct that we're going to go through over here. So which you can see over here, I did anticipate that we can expect the market to continue lower, which is exactly what we had, right? We had that impulse correction. And again, in this way, guys, I do not expect the market to do much. You can see here that the market now basically created, we broke above this level of resistance. Market came back, tested it as support. New structure was created when the market printed a green candle next to a red candle. So just to give you guys a little bit of context, when the market prints a green candle next to a red candle, that is considered structure, and we use that structure to identify price action levels in the market. So this is now considered support, and that's considered resistance. So at the moment where a market broke above this level of resistance, came back, tested it as support, and created new resistance. Now, going into this week, guys, I do expect this market to trade sideways. If you go into a little bit of a lower time frame where you can see this wick over there, that's where that wick is, the high of that wick, as you guys can basically see over there, the one on the daily, that's kind of where I'm expecting this market to kind of reins in, because as you guys know, before high impact news, the market tends to trade sideways. Why does the market range? Easy. That's due to uncertainty in the market by these big institutions. So they're not sure when the market waits for high impact news to come out. They normally trade sideways, or they trend sideways because they're waiting for the data to decide whether or not they want to continue purchasing the dollar index, or whether they want to close their positions. Now, again, a sideways moving market for me going into this week. GU also, as you guys can see, I anticipated this move to the upside. The market actually went higher. We tested previous structure, support, resistance. The market printed an equal high, and this market now is also stuck within this range. And like I said, for me, guys, I'm a very disciplined trader, so I would basically be looking for this market to basically be stuck within this range. And as soon as we have the job data that's coming through only on Friday, we will potentially see the long-term move out of this range or the short-term move out of this range here as well. Next up, we've got Euro USD. This move was also perfectly anticipated. Now, one thing you can see on Euro USD over here, the market never broke the structure. This level acted as support, market broke below that, came back, tested it as resistance. And if you go on to a lower time frame, you'll realize that this market basically traded sideways for the lateral part of last week. So if I just need to come in here, that was the high, and we're gonna say this was the low. So for me, I'm expecting this market to basically trade sideways, either with sorry about that, either within this range, or we could potentially see this market also trade within this range. Yeah, going into the new week, again, this is all due to uncertainty. And let me just say something, guys. Remember, do not take this. Don't say I said you must buy. No, I didn't say you must buy. I don't say go market and buy. You need to have a set of rules that you follow in order to make these trading decisions. So for me, again, on the dollar index, I don't normally look at the market in the week of high impact data. But again, this is just going to be a sideways moving market. The NASDAQ over here also went higher as anticipated. I expected a pullback based off the structure. You can see we had a massive liquidity sweep to the upside, then another one to the downside. NASDAQ's now trading in bullish territory. As you can see, the market broke above that structure, came back, tested it as resistance. So again, I would probably expect the Nasdaq. I don't know why that is. I probably expect the Nasdaq to just trade higher into the new week. Again, not a lot expecting for me in the market. Here you can see we anticipated this move down. Okay, market never came back to test that previous structure. We had a break above that level. We pull back. Here we also in that bullish territory going into the new week. I do expect this market to trade lower. From there, we can always monitor the price action. And then gold, people have been saying gold must fall. Gold must fall. Now, I'll tell you guys why, based off the technical side of this, why gold has not gonna fall. It hasn't shown any signs that it wants to fall, because why? If you look at the price action, this market has always traded above the price. Always. It's always traded above the price, right? So if you look at this market over here, this market never broke below the price here. It never broke below the price here. It never broke below the price there. It never broke below the price there. And so as well, not broke below the price over here. So you cannot really say that the momentum for gold has shifted, because the gold has never traded below the price where you can say that the market momentum had shifted berries. Therefore, the only thing you can do in this market, as gold continue to rise, you keep buying until the market dips below a structural. Then that's the start of a correction in the market, guys. Now I know, this week being the week of NFP, I'm not going to be in the market this week. We are focusing on doing a lot of investigations for some serious people, because and apart from that, there's obviously the idea of us not trading this week also. Please let me know what you're trading this week and your thoughts. Thank you for your time, and as always, cheers for the ears.